Yo, what's going on, everyone? It is Zigzag here. Welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. Today we're going to be doing some of the play-along challenges. Links will be in the description, so go ahead and play it. I'm in Perth right now. That's why I'm filming on this laptop setup, so with the trackpad and everything. But I say let's get straight into things here and get into some games. I have some spare time, so let's do it. Okay, first one here. Country is relatively straightforward. Let's take a look around at the landscape here. Okay, so obviously, main thing to see here is the Brazilian style pole. We have four sections in this one. Normally it's three, but it's normally three or four, right? They're concrete poles, wider at the bottom, thinner at the top. So interesting. Here we've got like a bunch of trees, kind of that typical red soil on the side of the road for Brazil. Looks like we have the white Google car here. Kind of hard to see, actually. We have those eucalyptus plantations that I was talking about that are more common in some states than others. And that is about it here. Road is kind of like gravelly and kind of salt and pepper, so I definitely, when I see that, do think of Tocantins and Goiás. So thinking of those two, maybe Goiás seems pretty good, but actually long grass, maybe Tocantins. One of the two seems really good here. These types of trees I've definitely seen in Tocantins before. The plantations, I'm not so sure, actually that common in either state. But yeah, this kind of like a little bit of hilliness, that also makes sense. So I think I'll go there, Southern Tocantins guess here. Yeah, I think that's good. We'll see. But let's find out here. And it was actually just in the federal state. So there we go. Actually, it was wrong, but at the right area anyway. And yeah, that kind of gravelly road is quite common in that part of the world. So yeah, well, that part of Brazil even. Okay, next one here. So immediately thinking of southern Africa here. We got these kind of dry bushes. We got like kind of longish grass, bit of red dirt and yellow outside lines. You wouldn't probably see so many trees in the Middle East like this. Wooden poles as well. Let's see here. I'm leaning Botswana right now, but I actually can't be sure just yet. Some of these poles kind of feel a bit South African. Don't really know though. We don't have a yellow and black striped pole either, but I do kind of think this is actually just going to be somewhere in Botswana anyway, just based on like the kind of like winterish looking shrubs here. It's kind of harder to see on the laptop, but I do think I lean Botswana here. If it's Botswana, and we're kind of going east to west here more or less, I would then kind of expect certain places, not others. I kind of thought, like, the road angle doesn't make a whole lot of sense here for the places I wanted to guess. But I guess I could see kind of this area over here, like south of Mound kind of thing. Also maybe, like, I don't know, it's winter coverage. You can see, like, the shrubs are kind of lacking their leaves a lot of times here. Okay, so if it's South Africa, it's just along the border. I'm pretty sure this is actually Botswana, so somewhere along this road, somewhere in this area, maybe somewhere in the southern area here. Yeah, I mean, let's just go there though. And okay, it was all the way over here. That makes sense as well, just on the border. So was it actually South Africa? No, it was actually, yeah, it's kind of what I thought. It was actually in Botswana, but yeah, kind of one of those very marginal rounds. So yeah, let's move on here. Next one, looking like somewhere in North America based on these kind of wooden paneled houses, short number plates. We also have arrêt on the stop sign. In France, they say stop on the stop sign. It's just because of the Quebecois kind of French nationalist kind of stuff that they have the arrêt on the Quebec signs. So yeah, we know we're in Quebec somewhere here. You do get bilingual ones in like New Brunswick and stuff. But anyway, this is fairly hilly. Doesn't feel too cold. This is a Quebec pole here with the kind of angled up thin bar. So yeah, that's good to know. I would take this somewhere like south of Quebec City or like on the way to Montreal, something like that. Some hills in this region, so I feel like that's pretty good. Doesn't feel too remote to me. Doesn't feel like up north of the state, but it could be. Lacking front plates in Quebec as well. It's good to know. See where we are. And yeah, it was actually the other side of Montreal, so not too bad at all. But was relatively close in. Next one here's a little more challenging. It feels like it's pretty rural. We've got white Google car with the kind of thin brake light here. Very mountainous and yeah, quite dry. So I would say Peru here over Bolivia. Peru has more mountain coverage on dirt roads. That's definitely true. There's not too much in Bolivia at all. And especially with this kind of dry and white soil, just definitely feels Peru. Sun is to the north, so southern hemisphere. That makes sense. And I was kind of thinking in the southern mountainous region, but when you see kind of like a mix of like a lot of like let's see, like a lot of dirt roads and a mix of green and dry. I kind of like this area here, like near Ayacucho, and then also this area here near Cajamarca. But I think it's more likely to be the southern one. But we'll see what is actually going to be the case here. And it was the southern one here. Very nice indeed. And I don't know. That's just kind of how those two places look, and this one felt more like the southern one to me. I'm back with some more Brazilian polls here. This looks like a bit of fun. And so I would say, this one's a little more challenging. So let's take a look at the palms. Kind of like a bit wider palms here. It's very dry. Do we see anything too useful? I feel like this is North Brazil, but I'm struggling to figure out why I think that is. Um, so yeah, some of these palms feel a bit like Maranhão palms. So I'm thinking of Maranhão at this point. Houses are like walls around the houses is pretty common there as well, I think. Architecture is interesting. I'm sure that helps a Brazilian, but doesn't really help me too much. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if we could see some more roofs. That almost feels like a thatched roof, which, yeah, I don't really know. Probably more of a North Brazil thing, but I don't really know about it. Yeah, okay. So, and then do we have any insulators? Doesn't seem like we do. They're all just thin poles, so there's not really too much to go off of here. I would lean, so a couple of thoughts here. I kind of like Maranhão as the like São Luís or something as the main guess here. I could see Belém. I also kind of think like any of the major cities here are quite likely. So I will hedge in São Luís because that was my thought here. But yeah, definitely see the others as well. Could even be southern. Just kind of think that this roof feels quite northern. So yeah, we'll see here what it actually will be. And it was actually quite southern. Northern Minas there, that does make sense. Like if if it looks like nothing, Northern Minas and like all of Bahia makes sense. So yeah, we don't go terrifically on the last round there, but to be fair, we were not really able to see too much, so I can't really blame myself too much. But let's find out how everyone did here. Oh wait, this one people have played good, and so I was actually quite far down there, definitely below 25th, but it makes sense. The last Brazil guess, I would have been better off just going in the center of the country. So yeah, let's click a few times here to get some lower scores and then make the guess. Give the video a like if you are enjoying so far. Okay, so let us click on. We've already still got good players here, so I think we need to click it a few more times here just to get some actual bad guesses. In order to make some good constructive criticism. And so here we go. This should be better now. Let's take the 15,000s, MMS, and United. So I think we've clicked in before, but okay, let's find out exactly how it went down here. So the Quebec guess was pretty easy. Had the array signs, that's good. One kind of worst guess here, I would say like also this kind of area has a lot of that long grass, so you'd be less likely to see it up in Maranhão, but not a bad guess anyway. Similar guesses here. Of course, the Chile guess doesn't really make sense because we had the section poles. Like Chile has similar poles, but without the horizontal bits near the bottom. So the horizontal sections that turn it into like a waffle. The Peru was difficult. As for Chile, normally you see a bit more of the Google car, and it would not probably be so green. I mean, the only place it could really have been is near Santiago, and it just looks a bit different. Bolivia, I guess, is a bit better, but again, less dirt roads and less of those dry dirt roads, especially. As for the Botswana, we had a good guess on the border here in South Africa. The Bloemfontein one, yeah, you probably wouldn't like these kind of like small bushes are very like Botswana border. You probably wouldn't see them over there. And then my guess was kind of average, but that's okay. And then what are we looking at as well? We had the array. So yeah, that was America's dominant seed there. And let's head into the second seed, which is right here. Region guessing, one of my favorite maps. Let's head straight into it here. First one's India. We got the wide blur. I didn't realize India was included here, but yeah, the only two countries with this kind of coverage, with this extremely wide blur and kind of lower quality, is somewhere in Nigeria and somewhere in India. And this one definitely has India vibes over Nigeria, I would say. Although I can't see anything to 100% confirm it. We do have motorbikes, which is more Indian. And can we see anything else here? House looks more Indian to me. Rice fields, more Indian, definitely. Yeah, so this is India. And when it's agricultural and kind of flat, I like northern. But actually, India had a bunch of places added that I haven't practiced yet. So I guess it could be somewhere over here, like in Odisha. I would probably lean Uttar Pradesh somewhere. So I'll go near Lucknow here. Let's find out what it actually is. And it was actually all the way in Punjab there, so not terrible, but yeah, I'm not really that good at India yet, so can't really give you guys too many hints. Rice fields definitely help for that kind of region though. This one is going to be somewhere in Thailand. We've got Thai script and the poles with the dots in it, the square, that go all the way down to the ground. The Sri Lankan ones are very similar, but they don't go all the way to the ground. And then we have like the new camera with the kind of overexposed sun here, which is like kind of big in the sky. And so that one would be anywhere in Laos, which also has the same poles. So I would say, how many palms do we have? I like to look how many palms we have in Thailand. Does not feel like we have too many palms here, huh? So maybe thinking more northern, but at the same time we don't see any mountains, so probably not all the way north. Yeah. Okay, so fairly generic here. I would opt for anywhere between Bangkok and kind of like northern, this kind of region. Um, is there anything else to say here? I don't really think so. I do kind of like northern a bit more here, just because we don't see any palm trees. Okay, that seems to be one there. It's not many though. But it is very urban, so it's hard to say. I'll still opt for a bit further north here. Let's find out. And it was just Bangkok. Yep, also makes sense. Like if I was playing in the tournament and I had two guesses, I would definitely say I'm on Bangkok there because Bangkok's a huge city, and yeah, it was just kind of feeling like something urban. Okay, next one here. This feels like the island of Sumba in Indonesia, I would say. So we do have this card. It's kind of interesting. I think you do get that there. Rock wall. So that's a bit, maybe a bit concerning. And this kind of organized uh like set of power lines. Okay, we can actually see it here. Yeah, I don't know if I love that anymore. Taking a look, it's like kind of a round pole. I think it's actually a Mexican pole, maybe. It kind of almost looks octagonal. So where's the sun then? Sun seems to be to the south, so that would make sense for northern hemisphere. I think both are in the northern hemisphere. Actually, no, Sumba is southern. So yeah, I would say it's actually going to be somewhere in Yucatan then. Interesting, because my first thought really was Sumba in the island in Indonesia. But yeah, with this Google car, you definitely get that in Mexico. And then it seems like we do have so it's like just a little bit of the brake light showing in a white car, and then we do have this pole here, which probably makes more sense for Mexico. And yeah, I don't really see that one being Sumba anymore. It also could be other things, but I think with the rock wall, we have to trust that here. It's kind of hard to see on the laptop screen, but I'm going for it here. And it was indeed Yucatan province there, state, so pretty good. Let's head into the next round. Okay, so next one here we have yellow center lines. We have quite a gravelly road. Immediately reminded me of Texas or somewhere near Texas here. Yeah, very much liking that. So, reason being, so yellow center lines making us think more of North America here. We've got a diamond sign, which is also like kind of a quite a well, yeah, yellow lines could make us think of all the Americas. Diamond sign, same thing. This like kind of landscape is kind of quite dry, but still got some grass growing. That definitely makes sense for kind of Texas kind of latitude. And then we also have like this kind of salt and pepper road, which, as I've said many times, is like really a great indication for Texas or the surrounding states. But generally speaking, Texas. This feels very Texas to me. This feels like just right in the heart of Texas, something like that. Maybe in a bit further north, I don't know. But something right in the heart of the kind of drier part of Texas here. Also got some hills, so that also could make sense for maybe a bit further south. Like you get something there's near the border, so maybe I will go further south here. Um, and is there anything else to say? Kind of winter coverage here, which is interesting. I think there's quite a bit of winter coverage near like the panhandle of Oklahoma, but I can't remember if that's Gen 2 or 3. It might be I mean Gen 3 or 4. I think it might be Gen 4. Just go for the guess here. Let's find out where it actually is. And it was actually, yeah, kind of near the Oklahoma border. That makes a bit of sense. But hey, we got the right state, so that's at least nice. And the next one here, almost looking like we're going to be back in North America, huh? Yeah, so white's in the center of the road, lots of birches, so feeling quite northern here. Yeah, yellows. Bit of like snow damage on the road, I would say. Feels like they feel like that way. This pole is very generic. Couldn't really say too much about that, I think. So yeah, thinking of like the Great Plains here, just because it's so flat. But to be fair, it is very forested. So there's kind of like a belt of forest on the Great Plains. It like starts here and it kind of goes up like this and kind of goes up into northern Alberta. I kind of like northern Alberta here, I would say. But is there anything else to go off of here? I would say it's between Manitoba and Alberta. I don't really love Saskatchewan. Still possible, of course. Poles don't really feel that Sask either. Yeah, so Saskatchewan will often have like poles that like have like two of the insulators on one side and one on the other, instead of like a trident style. So that's why I'm thinking that. But it feels quite northern, so I do think I want to go Alberta here. Can still see Manitoba. Could even see like a weird Ontario, weird something else, but yeah, I think my heart lies in Alberta here. I think so. So I'll make the guess here. Let's find out where it actually is. And so it was actually in northern Alberta. That's a pretty good guess. Yeah, so just the presence of a lot of trees in this area, and then also like the birch has made me really lean that over Manny there. So I feel like 19K on that seed is a decent score. Let's see how everyone did and see where I actually came. I think I did a bit better this time. Yeah, number 10. That's actually fine. Should have really got. I mean, I would get closer on the India if I practiced a bit of India. So I think that's really the only issue there. So let's scroll down here and see some people who also played and critique them a little bit here. So I think that should be enough. We probably will see some lower scores by now. So let's see that 9,000. Yeah, exactly. So let's check out these two fellas and see how they did. So first off, we had the Canada, 2 US guesses there. So yeah, birches. I mean, you could see that maybe in like Wisconsin, Minnesota, like Michigan kind of area having that many birches, but definitely kind of like the snow damage on the road as well. I don't know, definitely like felt Canadian to me. Kind of hard to describe apart from that. You just kind of have to get the vibe for the kind of climate there. As for the Texas round, we had the Mexico border guess, that was good. The Botswana one, not so good, because we'd have white center lines and yellow outside lines in Botswana, South Africa, those kind of countries. Apart from that, the vegetation felt very Botswana. So if you don't know road line conventions, I could definitely see Botswana as a legitimate guess there. But then also that kind of salt and pepper road, much more common over there. The Mexico was definitely tough. I mean, as you guys heard, I thought Indonesia at first. The rock wall would be less common in Brazil. You could see it, such a rock wall in Spain, but Spain would probably be drier. Mexico is definitely greener than Spain on the aggregate. And yeah, that also was pretty flat, and the whole Yucatan Peninsula is flat, so yeah. As for the Thailand here, everyone got closer than me, even, well, yeah, both of them getting near Bangkok was a good idea. I don't really know, it's urban, Thailand's kind of difficult. The India, good guess from one of them, and we had a Cambodia guess, not unreasonable, but yeah, when you know the camera quality, you have to go there. And is that it? I think that is indeed it. So then, guys, thank you very much for watching the video all the way to the end. Yeah, I'll see you guys in another one soon. I'll probably be able to film at least one more while I'm over here in Perth. So, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till next time, and goodbye.